do you want to create better presentations? And as I'm talking about this applies to presentations you do like as a podcast guest or anything, but I'm going to specifically refer to a presentation where you do like a PowerPoint presentation, then you're going to record that to be as part of a course or part of your marketing materials or something like that, and give you a real specific tip that I've discovered over the years really helps me to create a better presentation with that. Part of this comes from Daniel Kahneman's concepts of thinking fast and slow. And part of what he's talking about there is there's this automatic, intuitive, this is the way you do it, and it just spouts out. And that can be really good if you're in a sword fight, or if you are in a sports and, do I try to steal the ball here, or do I do it in a minute? That kind of thing. Those automatic, intuitive responses work really well in those situations, because you can't very well say, well, I'll think about this tomorrow or whatever. But when you have a presentation, oftentimes you have the advantage of being able to think about it a little bit. And here's the tip that I have discovered helps me tremendously. I make it a rule to never record on the same day I create a presentation. By the way, this works in blog posts and things like that too. I make it a rule not to ever publish on the same day I write it. Basically, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to tap into the unconscious mind, the thinking slow part, the mind that remembers every single book I've ever read, every class I've ever attended, every show I've ever watched, every conversation I ever had. Even if I can't consciously remember it, it's there in the file cabinets in my brain. And what happens is I like to, let's say I want to publish something on Wednesday. What I like to do is create it on Monday, create the PowerPoint. All the bullet points are there. Everything that is the core concepts that I'm going to be talking about are there on Monday, maybe Tuesday. Then on Tuesday, I come back and I go back through that. And what I'm doing here is I'm having my mind think about those concepts during the night, my subconscious going into all those drawers, taking out my thinking fast area, which is what went down into the presentation the first time. Here's what I think. Then I let my mind go and dig up all the other stuff that's out there, all my experiences, all my information that's there. And the second day, I'm able to look at it in terms of not just I think, but also everything else that I've ever encountered in the thinking. And what that enables me to do is to strongly refine and in most cases vastly improve the presentation that I wrote on Monday. And so on Tuesday, by the time I get done with it, it's a much better presentation. Because now I've tapped into that bank of knowledge. And then ideally, I put it away again until Wednesday. Wednesday, when I'm ready to record, I block off a bunch of time and I will record like 8 or 10 of them in a row. And what I'm doing is I'm calling it up. I'm going through it, thinking through the thoughts real quickly so that it gets back in my brain. And that gives me one more chance to make sure that I'm saying it right, saying it well, that I'm tapping into everything that needs to get tapped into. And then I record. So here's what's happened. Thinking fast, if I would have recorded it on Monday, I would have had just those, this is what I think about it. By recording on Wednesday, I've had 2 days of my brain being able to tap into everything. It's a substantially better presentation. It's worded better. My examples are more on target, and I am able to say it more concisely and say it better. That's my recommendation to you. Whenever you can, whether it's a presentation or a blog post or an article or an email that you send out, give it a night. Let your brain go to bed thinking about it. And by the way, there's another small tip. One of the things I like to do is just before I go to bed, if I want my brain to think about this during the night, I reread what is just there so that it becomes the dominant thought that's going through my brain at night so that my brain goes, oh, I'm supposed to work on that instead of solving world hunger tonight. Okay, here we go. And it goes off and thinks about that. This combination of things, I believe, creates, at least for me, better results. How do you feel? Have you tried this? What's been your experience with this? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.